The weather's been a challenge when it comes to making that feed, and I've got Steve Heckel, Livestock Production Specialist and Quality Assurance Guy from Allied Cooperative. And he is from central Wisconsin. There's a lot of cows to feed out there in central Wisconsin. What are we going to do for those rations?
So when the end of the harvest season comes and you do a forage inventory, if you come up short, there's a number of commodity type ingredients that we can put into a diet that work just fine to kind of stretch things along until you can get to next May or June when you're making first crop again.
And what are some of those things that help out in our dairy rations?
Common feed ingredients would be like corn gluten feed. Corn gluten feed brings some protein, some starch, some sugar, and some fiber. Wheat midds we use routinely every day. Again, it brings some protein, some starch, and some fiber to the diet. We also handle bakery meal, which brings in a little bit of protein, quite a bit of sugar and starch, and some fiber. And then we handle soy hulls, which are very, very digestible fiber. Other ingredients on the market would be like cottonseed hulls, citrus pulp, that kind of thing. We don't handle those in-house, but you can get those brokered in.
The quality of the forage this year really is a challenge. Are you available to help balance those rations and give a farmer the best option to keep those animals growing and going throughout the winter season?
Absolutely. Most of our customers, under normal or even substandard circumstances, do an excellent job of making high-quality haylage and very high-quality corn silage. This year is just beyond what anybody's been able to deal with. This in the central part of the state. You know, we've had rain on top of rain on top of rain. We've had some warm weather, but most mornings it's been cool. We've dealt with low-quality forage in the past, can again. The software that we use to balance rations is a true least costing program. So if someone says I can buy hay for $100 a ton or $200 a ton, we can plug that in and say, well, that's the best way to go, or you might consider feeding like soy hulls or corn gluten feed, that kind of thing. We're well equipped to handle those situations.
Is testing of the feeds that the farmer has to use part of the program as well?
Absolutely. All of our rations are based on forage inventories and forage quality, so we do a lot of forage testing. Basically, every ration we do, or 90% of the rations that we do, are premised off of new forage samples, new forage analysis.
And beyond analyzing those forages, are you also available to help with figuring out how much a farmer needs to feed for a certain number of animals?
Yeah, we do. We call those forage inventories, and we're available to do that anytime. It's real common to do, about a month from now when corn silage is being harvested and hay crop is pretty much done for the year. Sit down, and we have upright silos, we have silo charts. If you have bags, we can do some figuring. If you have bunker silos or piles, we can do a very good job of estimating amount of forage on a farm. And then it's just doing the math. You have this much feed and this many cows, and this is how long it's going to go. It's much better to start stretching now rather than waiting until March when you have very little left. Then you're down to not having anything to stretch. You're kind of in a bind.
And what about some of those challenges with the crop that is being harvested? Between the moisture and the funguses that are out there, what about feeding some of that crop that gets infected?
We have additives that we can help mitigate effects of molds and mycotoxins, bacterial type contaminated feed. I wouldn't want to tell you that if that's what you have to feed that we can make the problem go away, because we can't, but we can help dilute it or put a Band-Aid on it for a few months until something better comes along next spring.
Always good to have somebody in your corner when it comes to feeding your livestock, and you'll have that with Steve Heckel. He is the Livestock Production Specialist and Quality Assurance Guy from Allied Cooperative, based out of central Wisconsin. And I'm Jill Welke.